It's big pleasure to have a conversation with the idea book author, yes. Fredrik Haren. So, Fredrik, you had an amazing presentation.
Thank you.
And I would ask you some question. Of course, I want to saving your precious time. So,
sure.
So B2B sales difference going into new markets before coronavirus, and now perhaps nothing has changed. What is your opinion?
Okay, actually there were a few speakers who said that now we have to go back to you have to call your customers, you have to have lunch with them. No, we haven't seen each other. But actually, I think that I think things have changed. Like for example, yesterday I was moving house in Singapore, and yesterday I was looking at houses through a Zoom call. Like because we are going to decide on our next home through Zoom. And I've actually bought an island through Zoom. So I was living in Singapore. I bought this island in Sweden on Zoom. Okay. So this idea that people cannot buy expensive things, they have to meet in person, I don't think it's true. I think that we have realized that it's much better to see 15 apartments in 1 hour, one Zoom after another, than to sit and watch 7 apartments and have to drive around, right? So but of course we still will also meet. But the idea is to say no, we go back to normal like it used to be. I think it's very dangerous. Yeah, I think look at what did we learn from the pandemic, and how can we now do things differently?
Okay. So how a conversion rate increase or decrease in B2B sales change it? What advice would you give to a business entering new markets, for example, expansion to Asia, Emirates, or America?
Okay, first of all, I would say that they should do it. There is a value in itself to go into markets that you don't know so much about, because it forces you to start learning again. So I don't think about it only from the perspective of potential revenue. I think about it because like for example, when I moved to China in 2000, in 2005, I moved from Sweden to China, and when I came to China, it's so different from Sweden. Like they eat with chopsticks. So I go there, I couldn't read the menu. I would just point at something, and then they would give me 2 chopsticks, 1 spoon, 1 fork, 1 knife, because they didn't know if I could eat with chopsticks or not, right? And for the first time, I was about 40 years old. For the first time in my life, I looked at the food and I decided how I wanted to eat it. Because in Sweden, I would eat with a fork and a knife, always, it's natural, right?
Yes.
And in all the Chinese, we eat with chopsticks. But to me, they gave me both and a spoon. And I would look at this food that I've never had before and say, what is the best way to eat this food, right? And now my wife is from the Philippines. We had kids. So should we raise them Swedish way or Filipino way? Right? Very different. In the Philippines, they hit the children, right? All the time. Okay? Hard, like this. In Sweden, it's illegal. We're the first country in the world to make it illegal. But now, are we going to hit the kids or are we not going to hit the kids, right? Now, me and my wife have to have a discussion. If I married a Swedish woman, we wouldn't even have the discussion. In this case, we decided not to hit the kids. But my point is that going to a market you don't know anything about forces you to become like a child again, and you need to start over. And every time you start over, you learn so much more. The learning curve is much steeper when you're a beginner, right? And it creates energy, it creates new perspective. So there's a value in itself to go into a market that is totally different from your own, even if that's not the most important. I published my book in Mongolia. Mongolia.
Mongolia is creative country in the world.
It's not the largest. It's not the largest book market in the world. But I choose Mongolia because I wanted a country that I didn't know anything about. So I tried to get my book into as many different languages, many different alphabets as possible, just for the fun of it.
Really great, nice. So Fredrik. Mention the 3 main difference in sales strategy between between going to Asia or American market?
All right. First of all, America is one. Actually, America is not also one market. They're very different Americas.
Yeah, I agree. South, North. I agree.
More coast and middle.
Yes.
And Asia is even more so because China and India is two totally. They're more different than India and than China and America. So Asia is 60% of the world population, right?
Yeah.
The biggest difference between, but if I should answer your question, the biggest difference between America and Asia is that America is a developed market, Asia is a developing market, which means, right? And developed, if you think about it, what does developed mean? It means done, right?
Yes, I agree.
Developed, finished, done, right? Done. And developing means still changing. So generally, Asia is much more open for new ideas because it's like cement. When cement is hard, it's hard to change, right?
Okay.
In Asia, the cement is still soft, so you can still change it, right?
Okay.
So they go like mobile payments took off way earlier in Asia than it did in America, right? In America, they still use checks. Checks, like it's like 19th century technology. It's not even 20th century technology. And they have Square and PayPal, but they also have checks. Right? In Asia, they're much more open to new ideas, and they're younger in a way.
Yes,
and if you think about it, I mean, I know you have a lot of young members, right? Young people generally are better at seeing the potential for new ideas. Like I've started my career. I was 27 years old and I started an internet company because it was 1994 or 1995.
Okay.
And you look at all the people who started internet companies or computer Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Google founders, Yahoo, all of them. What's the common denominator is they were in university, they saw a new potential and they said, screw this, I'm starting a company, right? So you have the ability to see new potential when you have a young mindset, which is easier to have when you're actually young. But you can also have it when you're older. By, for example, moving to a different country, then you become young.
Okay, so, Fredrik, if you had to choose one country where you would to develop business in the next 5 years, which country would it be and why, except Singapore, of course?
Yeah, Singapore is a wonderful country. I
agree. I've never been before, but I read a lot, and so...
I mean, no country is perfect, but the way they look, the way they innovate is very, very fascinating. I would say India.
India?
Yeah.
Why?
India is one of my favorite countries. They are so hungry for learning, and now they have I've been to India for the last 15 years, and now they have confidence. They didn't used to have confidence, and I think it's because China is kind of getting older, and and now they know that all the factories won't be in China because they realize they need to have an alternative, and India has decided to open up. But most important, they love to learn. The smart, the well-educated, smart Indians are just they blow me away.
Okay. So nice, India. I agree with your opinion, maybe. So I think maybe the last question for you. So, what are the current business development trends that advice would you give to a business planning to go into the new markets?
You mean specifically going to a new market?
For example, we could take example like Asia or America.
I wrote a book once it's called One World, One Company, and it's about how to build a truly global company. And the mindset of this book is not to be an international company, but to be a truly global company. A truly global company doesn't come from anywhere. So you're I don't care where, you should not be a Lithuanian company.
Yes.
You should be a company. Okay?
Yes, global.
Well, you don't have to be global, but you shouldn't connect your company to a country. Like, for example, for 20 years, I was a Swedish speaker. I would think of myself as a Swedish speaker and author. Then I moved to China, then I moved to Singapore. When I came to Singapore, I said, I'm not going to be a Swedish speaker, I'm not going to be a Singapore speaker, I'm going to be a speaker.
How you change your
mind? It's a mindset shift. And that's after I said that. Before I said that, I've spoken in 10 countries. After I said that, I've spoken in 70 countries. And now I speak in 20 to 35 countries per year. Because I don't think of myself as, I think of myself as a speaker. And then the whole world is my market.
Yeah.
And if you think like this, you look for the best person to hire in the whole world. You don't look for the best Lithuanian to hire. Like I have a friend, he runs a gaming company in China, but he has one developer who sits in Libya. He doesn't they don't even have a bank account, but he's one of the best in the world on this specific 3D program that he learned all online. So they have to send him an envelope with dollars in it every month to pay his salary. But he's the best in the world. So they found who's the best in the world in this. This guy in Libya. Okay, let's hire him, right? You have that mindset. You go for where's the best person, where's the best market. It just blows your mind when you think of the whole world as your resource.
Okay. So I promise the last question for you.
Okay. For it.
So how I understand your favorite dishes is tandoori pizza?
Tandoori pizza, yes.
Really?
The whole idea, if you didn't hear the speech, the whole idea is that you look at, take the best from different parts. So tandoori, the best of Italian food, the best of Indian food is tandoori. Actually, one of my favorite dishes is salmon adobo. Adobo is a Filipino dish, and they do it with pork, and they do it with chicken.
Okay.
But in Sweden, we have salmon. My wife is from the Philippines, so that's a good example. She saw salmon, and she said, why don't we try salmon adobo? No one has ever done that, and it's the best adobo. It's a great thing. So you get a better life if you don't assume that what you do in your culture is the best. If what you do in your culture is the best, you keep it. But if someone somewhere in any other country does it better than you do, you throw out your bad and you take something even better.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, Fredrik, that you help the people to start to thinking out of the box mining. So it's very good. It's a big pleasure for you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.